It's been about 2.5 years ago. I started to notice some blood in my stool and wasn't quite sure what was going on. So we decided, well, hey, I need to go in and have a colonoscopy and just check and see what's going on. And so they set it up, and I went in and had it done. And they couldn't find anything. They just said I had a little inflammation in my large colon, and they were going to biopsy it and check it out, and that's it. And I didn't hear anything else from them. But I noticed that the bleeding started getting even worse, and I started getting a little constipated. And it was like, wow. So I kept calling them and saying, hey, I'm having some issues. And so you decided to do a sigmoidoscopy, and they found that I had diverticulosis, is what he called it. So I had the diverticular down there in my sigmoid.
Diverticulitis. Yep.
In my sigmoid, and I said, okay. And I said, but I'm doing an awful lot of bleeding. And they said, well, it could be a hemorrhoid. And I'm thinking, well, you went right through there. You should have seen something. They couldn't find it. And I kept bleeding. And finally, I was bleeding like real bad. And they couldn't figure it out. And they sent me to a rectal surgeon. And he said I had proctitis. And I said, okay. So now we got proctitis, and figuring, okay, I'll be okay and I can treat that. And so the first thing they did was put me on mesalamine right off the bat, and orally, and it didn't do any good. And then the bleeding, they decided to put me on the enema, mesalamine.
Mesalamine enema.
Yep, didn't do any good. They put me on budesonide, which is a steroid that would do the rectum, and it didn't do me any good. And for you know it, I started to say, okay, well, I need to do something. And I was thinking I'd just, work on my diet, work on something. And everything just kept getting out of control. And before you know it, I winded up 7 days in the hospital and like to bled to death. And they put me on a very high dosage of steroids, like 150 milligrams, to try to curb everything. It got me to a point where I was able to leave out of the hospital and go back home, but I still wasn't nowhere close to being good at all.
Yeah. Did they ever come back and diagnose you with ulcerative colitis or any other forms of IBD?
Yeah, yes, they did. While I was in there, they did a colonoscopy, and then they called and let me know that I had ulcerative colitis, and that was, and to stay on 150 milligrams of steroid prednisone. And I had to let them know that I couldn't stay on 150 milligrams. It was killing me. I wasn't even functioning. My legs swelled, my head swelled, my face, my legs. I mean, I was like impaired, couldn't do anything.
Jesus.
So,
and that was 3 years ago. And John, how old are you?
I was 56 years old when I got diagnosed, and I'm almost fixing to be 59.
And it's just intense to think, I mean, you didn't have these problems when you were a teenager, when you were in your 20s, when you were in your 30s or 40s. Did you have these issues?
No, not at
So
all.
you were just going out, eating whatever, it's all fine, no problems, 1 to 2 normal bowel movements a day, raised your kids, lived your entire life, and all of a sudden this, pops out at 56 years old and no one can tell you why.
Yeah, there was no answers.
And when did you start looking at natural medicine or even the S.H.I.E.L.D program and think?
Well, when I got out and got off of the steroids, I said I had to wean myself off because it was just too much. I couldn't do it. And I had to actually learn how to walk again. I couldn't even pick my leg. I couldn't even pick it up, 5-6 inches and then lift my other leg up. It was that serious. So I knew that something had to take place, and I've always believed in natural medicine and being on a diet, but I knew it had to go further than that. There was more to it. And one day I decided to start searching on the web and stuff, and I saw the S.H.I.E.L.D program, and I watched it very well. I watched a lot of testimonies, and I said, not all these people can say, what they went through and stuff, and now they got positive results. I said, I want to be one of those because there's more to this. And I finally made the phone call and joined, and man, it was the best thing that I could have ever done.
Before the program, you went upwards of 10 bowel movements, 15. I think you were sitting around 8 bowel movements when we started, coming off the medications and things of that nature?
Yes.
So about eight bowel movements, you were dealing with extreme amounts of blood, extreme mucus, extreme urgency, moderate to severe diarrhea, and you had moderate bloating and extreme cramping and pain, like you were saying, excruciating. And then you were also getting pretty terrible arthritis, which we didn't know if it was connected or not. But I mean, how do you get through that? Before we jump in, I know you're doing so well, but was there one thing that really helped you push forward and say, I'm gonna go find my own answer? I'm gonna partner with this team. Was there something that really helped you in that moment to keep going?
You better believe it. I wanted away from the pain. I wanted away from how I felt, the hurt, and there had to be an answer to keep moving forward. And when I looked at it, just a lot of the testimonies and the people, the coaches that went through the same thing, and here they are training somebody else and how to get their healing and happy and going about their business. I'm thinking, I want to get back to where I once was. I don't want to be stuck in this rut and hurt. I'm not through living yet.
Yeah, I love it. And it's possible. What happened? Why can't we shift? Something happened. We need to be able to fix it. And so now, how many bowel movements a day are you having?
2.
2 bowel movements a day. And are you having any blood, mucus, urgency, diarrhea?
No, none whatsoever.
Arthritis is gone. Energy's up. And I'm reading here we gained 13 pounds in the last 4 months.
Yes, I am right back to my normal weight, feeling great at 145. I like it right there, and I'm staying steady with it.
And you are off prednisone.
I am off prednisone, yes.
No prednisone. Amazing, amazing. You've been able to do all this amazing success. I mean, would you have believed you would have been doing this well if I told you this 4 months ago?
No.
I mean,
not.
And then in a matter of 4 or 5 months, I think we're coming on month 5. You're symptom-free?
Symptom-free.
And you're working every day with great energy?
I'm working with excellent energy.
And you did all this from home?
I did it all from home.
And where do you live, John?
I live in Bossier in Louisiana.
In Louisiana. So you're in Louisiana doing this from home, be able to get symptom-free, working on completely medication-free, but no matter what, you're good, right? Whether it was both or one. Did you ever get overwhelmed where you're like, man, this is too much? Or was it simplified enough that you said, you know what, one step at a time, I can do it?
Exactly. One step at a time. At first, I thought it was going to be like a little too much for me to handle, but it's not that way. When you join the program, it's one step at a time, and actually it's made easy. Follow the instructions, A, B, C, and as you move through it and you're determined, you can get there.
Let me ask you this. In the program, you got your own custom solution. So everyone listening to John, he didn't just follow a generic protocol. It was built for him specifically, and he had a one-on-one coach. If you join the S.H.I.E.L.D. program, you will have a one-on-one coach who has reversed Crohn's colitis themselves. Okay? How important was it to have Coach Fernanda along your side, have those private sessions, and have her work with you to get to these results?
My goodness, it was priceless. Just the day one when I talked with her, we bonded very quickly. She was able to relate with me very quick. Had me on a protocol real fast, and we had a blueprint running, and I was starting to see results very quickly. But she's so educated and knows exactly where to go with you so quickly that it's like all you need to do is pay attention and follow. And they're excellent. It's excellent. She's been great.
If there's any protocol, supplement, or feature in the program that you wanted to highlight to give someone else something that, man, it really helped you out?
Yes, sir. It was awesome because I bled very bad. It's called indigo. It stopped it instantly, took it within a day and a half, and I hadn't seen none since. So awesome. That was the go-to stuff right there.
All right, guys, we'll put the product he's talking about below. We'll put a link to that below so you can see it, but make sure that you speak with your doctor before using. If there's one piece of advice you would leave for anyone else who's relating with your story?
Oh, I would say definitely do not give up. Even though you feel alone and they gave you a good reason to feel that way, there's that S.H.I.E.L.D. program. And I went searching and found it, and it was the best thing that I ever did was to contact and join it and move forward. There's more than hope right there. Your healing is in the program. You make one step and they have many steps for you to take, and they will lead you right through it. So do not give up and go forward and look into it yourself. Look at the testimonies. They're awesome. And you're not through living either. Keep moving forward.